right, good afternoon. I have 3 o'clock. Thank you all for being here with us today. Excited to introduce a few new faces in the room, so we're looking forward to that. We are missing a few faces as well. I want to make sure you knew that Amy's on vacation this week. And then Hannah and Anna Grace. Hannah's not going to speak today, but she's here. She didn't have too much to share. But Anna Grace is going to be returning at the end of August. So that's good. She's doing really well. She's looking forward to coming back. But we'll have Judy start us off with prayer because David's also missing this week as well. So, and be patient here. Judy's got a bum foot here.
Thank you, Ryan, for telling everybody. Any other secrets y'all want to know? Let's go to the Lord in prayer. Our Heavenly Father, we gather today with grateful hearts, thankful for the gift of life, the friendships we share, and the many blessings you have given us through the years. Thank you for bringing us together in this place of community, care, and encouragement. As we begin this meeting, grant us wisdom in our conversations, kindness in our words, and patience in our listening. Help us support one another with compassion and respect, celebrating each person's unique experiences and the value that each one brings. Bless all that live here and all that work here at Rolling Green Village. Strengthen those who may be facing illnesses, loneliness, or uncertainty, and fill every heart with hope, comfort, and peace. May your presence be with us today, guiding our thoughts and discussions so that they may reflect integrity and compassion. As we go from this meeting, may we leave encouraged, uplifted, and mindful of the many reasons that we have to give thanks. We ask all of these things in the holy name of your Son. Amen.
I want to jump in and thank you, Judy. I want to jump in and introduce Tess before Judy comes back up here. But Tess, how do you say your last name? Bowie. You want to come on up? So Tess is our new accounting director, financial services director. She started at the end of June, and we're extremely grateful to have her here with us. And I asked her to come and say hello, and then also maybe talk a little bit about where she was before here and how she's off to a great start. So, and then afterwards, she's got a lot of work to keep learning. So we're gonna have her leave after that. She doesn't want to stick around for the whole meeting.
Hi everybody, I'm Tess Bowie. I'm excited to be here at Rolling Green. I have always loved accounting. I'm super excited to be able to have a career that I enjoy doing. And just a little bit of background for me. I used to have my own accounting practice as a young mom when I lived in Greenwood, just down the road just a little bit. And then as my kids got older and their hobbies and their school got more and more expensive, I moved to the Greenville area to pursue some more opportunities. I have a lot of experience in manufacturing, nonprofit, and even I have one community, retirement community living experience under my belt as well before getting here to Rolling Green. So I'm super excited to be here. I've met some of you before. Forgive me if I look at your name tag and forget names. I'm on information overload at the moment, but please stop by and see us. We're going to be decorating my office pretty soon, so come by and see the new decorations and say hello. Glad to be here. Thank you.
Good afternoon again. I have a few announcements from charitable giving. One of the first announcements, it's that time of year again, and it's time for the annual back to school backpack campaign, and This year, we have increased from 50 children up to 61 children. Lois Skelton is still helping with that, but Rolling Green, is just kind of coordinating with some of the logistical things. And we are still going to need some volunteers, and read, as Amy always says, read your highlights, and that information will be in there this Friday. But each bag this year is running about $50 each. I guess it's tariffs, I'm not sure. And but we're helping grades go from first grade to 12th grade. And as our numbers, as I mentioned, has gone up from 50 to 61 children. So that's a big jump for the needs in our community. The second announcement is the Rotary Club of Rolling Green Village wants to thank everybody that came out last Friday that attended the reception. It was a lot of fun celebrating becoming the first Rotary Companion Club in the District 7750, which goes from Pennsylvania all the way down to the middle of South Carolina, in a senior life planning community. So that's really a special honor for Rolling Green Village. If you were at the celebration, you got to experience what Rolling Green has on our campus, a magic table. And the magic table is part of a happiness program, and for those that are wordsmiths out there, I didn't misspell program. This is a British company, and that's the way they spell it, okay? It's an interactive projector system that's designed specifically for assisted living and memory care. But Amy and I have enjoyed playing with it too. I mean, it's for all levels. It's so much fun. It is mounted on an IV pole, and the projector provides a 360-degree projection. It can be on the ceiling, on the wall, or on the floor, and or on a bed sheet if a person's confined to bed. It helps through the responsive light games. It helps encourage physical, cognitive, and social engagement. And it's absolutely fantastic. Now, the Rotary Club of Rolling Green Village submitted a grant application to the Reedy River Duck Derby Foundation for the magic table, and it's funding for 1 year, and we received the entire funds, which is very unusual in grant funding. The cost is $5,000 a year to lease it. They discourage purchasing it because it's all run on software, and the software updates by plugging it in, and it updates once a month. And it actually will send you holiday activities like for Halloween and fall, and then for Christmas. So it's really a unique piece of equipment, and it has been used already down in the licensed area with some of our bed-bound patients, residents that are down there, and it's such a calming effect. It can light up a whole room with bubbles or leaves or flowers, as well as someone was down there and could not get out of bed, and they were totally flat in their bed, and they were asked, what is your favorite vacation spot? And they said, well, I'd love to go to the beach. So this machine was brought in, and on the ceiling where he could see without any effort, they played the ocean waves crashing and coming up. So this is an exciting thing for Rolling Green Village, and we actually have just been notified. This picture shows how it shows on the ceiling, if you can't quite tell what that is, and but it can be used for group activities too. So it really does a lot to get people out of their rooms. So that's announcement number 2. Number 3 is we at Rolling Green Village are excited to announce a third opportunity for residents and staff to give. And this new fund is called a staff hardship fund. We've never had that on campus, and it will be used similar to the Residents Assistance Fund. It will be managed by a committee. It will be offered to staff members that are going through some very significant financial issues. It's not for typical power bills or oil changes or anything like that. It's a really focused area. And unfortunately, over the last year, we've had several that needed some extra help. And the leadership here believes that it is a plus to help keep the great staff that we already have working in all of our areas. So if you have questions, if you have a check, book, or whatever, you can just come to see me, okay? Anybody have a question? Thank you. And by the way, I broke my foot jumping from one jet ski to another.
Good afternoon. Good afternoon. I'm excited to announce this is Danielle Taylor. She's our new clinic nurse. She started on Monday. So I'm going to let her talk a little bit about herself, but I want to say appreciative to Jane. She's helped us out in the transition between Kathy and Danielle. I told her the other day, because she's been here most days, and I said, somebody walked by and just surprised. I said, just like your celebrity, Jane. You know, they're seeing you around more and excited. The residents are excited to see her. So very appreciative of her and all she's done for us. But I'll let Danielle speak on herself a little bit.
Hello, everyone. I've met many of you since Monday. You've been dropping in through the clinic, so it's been really pleasant since Monday meeting everybody, and it's been such a warm welcome compared to where I've come from. I've never been told so many times in my life to have a good day. No one tells me that when you go into other places where I have worked. I come from, within the last 5 years, doing agency work and also working at a veterans home in behavioral health care and psych. So this is a very welcome change to be a clinic nurse and work with, you all, and provide just a positive and therapeutic experience. So it's been really wonderful, really, since Monday. As I am ending the end of the week, I can say my toughest transition has been navigating the building. So, you all have been easy. Learning the job has been easy. Navigating the building with the construction and parking has been something. Yeah, but I'm going to have it down by tomorrow. I lived in Houston for 11 years, and I moved to Five Forks 5 years ago. My husband works at Michelin, and his job moved us here. We have 3 children, 1 in college, 2 at Malden High in high school. And I'm just excited to be planted here and, I don't know, just hang out with you all for a while. It's been really, really pleasant, so I thank you all.
So not to confuse you, but we will have, Danielle Taylor, Danielle T, and then we know Danielle S. So we'll have both of them in the clinic. Yes. Danielle said her family calls her Nell, and then Danielle Taylor said her family calls her Danny. So I don't know if we'll do that. But Danielle is going to talk to you about transportation now.
All right. Hello, everyone. Can you hear me good? Yeah. All right. For those of you who don't know me, I'm Danielle Salvaggi. I've worked at Rolling Green for 8.5 years. Started when I was in high school, doing a bunch of different roles. But I've had the privilege of being your all's medical transport supervisor for the past 2 years. And just wanted to take probably about 10 minutes just to kind of give you an overview of our transport services, review the progress we've made these past couple years, as well as answer any questions you all might have. Okay. So just a quick overview of our services. I want to mention our drivers who make this all possible. If you have not had the pleasure yet of meeting John and David, they are just the greatest guys, very reliable, dependable, so friendly. Residents really enjoy their company when they're going to and from their appointments, so just want to give them a shout out and thank them. Our hours of operation for transportation are Mondays through Fridays, not on the weekends. On the weekdays, we can transport you to appointments as early as 7 a.m. all the way through 2:30 p.m. And we ask that appointments aren't made later than 2:30 p.m. That way we can ensure that our drivers get back to Rolling Green campus at a reasonable time, since we do tend to start our days pretty early. Also keep in mind that if you do have appointments prior to 7 a.m., for example, we've had residents that need to get to the hospitals for early morning procedures, or if you need to get to the GSP airport at like 5:30 a.m. or something for those early flights, oh yeah, we are happy to do those. So never hesitate to reach out to me about those if something comes up. We currently have 3 Rolling Green Village vehicles that we use for medical transport. 2 of them are fairly new vehicles. They're Honda CR-Vs. We also have a Toyota Sienna, which has been converted to an ADA van, also known as a wheelchair scooter accessible van. So that's been really helpful, not only to some of our independent living folks, but residents in our higher levels of care as well. Our current rates for standard transport is going to be $40 round trip, and that is just for this year, 2026, and that's just standard transport with our Honda CR-Vs. If you require wheelchair or scooter transport, it's going to be increased to $90 round trip. And just keep in mind that we do have an upcharge of $10 if you put in a transport request less than 48 hours before your actual appointment. We just put this in place to encourage residents to get their appointments to us as soon as possible, because sometimes it can be a little difficult to squeeze folks in last minute. So just to keep that in mind. Now we know the cost of these trips can accrue to quite a bit, especially if you're frequent flyers with us. So we have a coupon incentive that we've established. So every time you have a transport with us, your driver gives you their business card with their phone number on it. That card acts as a coupon. If you collect 5 of those coupons, turn them into your driver, and your 6th trip with us is free. Okay? And then at the end of each month, if you've turned in cards within that month, you'll receive a receipt in your mailbox. It's just like a colored piece of paper that lets you know the day that your trip was marked free. Okay. And this is just kind of the basics. I'm going to be outside after the meeting with printed out sheets that go a little bit more into detail about our policies, and also has my contact information for you all. Okay. Okay, perfect. So things are looking up in our transport department. As you can tell by this chart, I don't know if it shows big enough here, but this chart represents the number of transports that we've done from the beginning of 2023 through this past June of 2026. That green line represents when I started working with y'all in transport in June of 2024, and we're so happy to see that we made significant strides in the number of transports. Right now, on average, we do about 149 transports each month. That's amongst me and my 2 drivers. I think the highest month we've ever did was 178. I don't know how we did that, but it happened. And we're just really proud of these numbers. Since 2023, we've had a 73% increase in number of transports, so very proud of our team for that. And how, might you ask, do we get such a high increase over the years? There's a couple reasons. One is that when I did start coming on as medical transport supervisor, I took a lot of the driving on myself in addition to our drivers. That's just because I love being out in the car with y'all, driving around. It's a fun time, and it allows us to accommodate as many transport requests as possible. Also, it does take a lot of strategic planning to ensure we can fit as many people as possible, which is why sometimes we'll carpool folks, so I know that. So if someone has an appointment or that's in a similar area or a similar time as someone else, we'll all ride there together, and that's also helped increase our numbers. And lastly, you all have helped increase our numbers, especially by word of mouth. It was brought to my attention when I first came on that a lot of residents didn't even know that we had transportation services here at Rolling Green. So I think over the past 2 years, word's gotten out, and a lot of people have reached out to me saying, hey, so-and-so mentioned you might be able to help me. So thank you all who have used us and spread the good word of our services. just wanted to speak briefly on declined transports. This hits home for me because we never like to tell residents, no, we can't help you. Sometimes, as much as we would like to, there are times where our schedule gets a little bit too busy. Sometimes your appointment may not line up timing or location with the other appointments that we already have scheduled, or some days you might just be down a driver, which enables us to have to decline your transport request. But despite that, we're fairly happy with our declination rate, which right now is about 7.6, and it's depicted in these graphs here from 2025 and 2026. The blue bars represent the amount of transports that we do each month. The little green ones are the number of transports we've had to decline for residents. But whenever we do decline a transport, don't fret, it's not the end of the world, where there are other options. I recommend that residents, if possible, try to reschedule their appointment to another time or date that we might be available. I completely understand if this isn't always possible. Sometimes appointments are very far out if you end up rescheduling, or it's an urgent need and you can't afford to push it. If that's the case, try asking a friend or family member that has a vehicle available. If that's not an option either, I do have a list of outside transport resources that I'd be more than happy to give you the numbers for if needed. Okay. Let's see. Oh yeah, and just thank you in advance if you do, come to us with any transport requests. We know it's frustrating trying to navigate without a car, trying to navigate doctor's appointment times. When we're available, it can be frustrating. So just thank you for your understanding and flexibility in that. Lastly, just wanted to answer some burning questions that we've gotten over the past couple years, and wanted to just address them. Maybe it answers a question you already have in mind. The first one is, how do I pay for this transport? On the day of your transport, no money, no tips, nothing is needed. Everything is billed directly through your Rolling Green Village account, whatever you have set up with billing. So your charge will appear in your monthly invoice. Okay. The next question is, do you only transport to medical appointments? And yes, although medical appointments take up a majority of our trips, there have been times we brought residents to non-medical things, such as the pharmacy. We brought people to banks, vets for their pets, hair and nail salons, because those are important too, tax offices, memorial services, and the airport, as mentioned. If you do plan on doing any big bulk shopping, we encourage you to utilize the Rolling Green Village bus trips every week. And then also wanted to mention, sometimes there's confusion with the on-campus shuttle. That's not our department, that is Amy and her team and Resident Life Services. They run the shuttle that gets you to and from places on campus, whereas we go off of campus. The next question is, how do you get in contact with me if you have any questions or put in a transport request? I will admit I'm not always in my office because I am out on the road driving a lot. So just keep that in mind if I don't get to you right away when you contact me. But there are many ways to get in touch with me. The first one is calling me at my office number, which I will leave on the sheets outside the door. If I'm not there, leave a message. You can email me. We have a Rolling Green Transport email that actually Shannon has access to as well. So if I'm ever out for some reason, she can still have access to your transport requests. Residents have messaged me through the community apps as well. If you look at my contact information, your message will come right through my email. Or you can even stop by my office. My office is currently right across from the Independent Living Clinic. And again, if I'm not there, you're more than welcome to leave me a note. In the next coming months, I'm thinking about even putting a little mailbox in front of my office. That way, if you do miss me, you can write a little note or write your appointment details. And I will say I'm very diligent and proud to say that I do get back to people the same day, more often than not. I won't say always, more often than not. Because I know how important it is these appointments are, so I will be sure to get back to you, even if it's a little bit later in the day, okay? Next question is, how far in advance do I need to give you my appointment details? And my answer to that is as soon as possible. The sooner the better, because we have just been so busy lately, which is great, but it does make our schedule fill up fairly quickly. So although sometimes we can accommodate last minute transports, it's just easier and safer to get them into us as early as possible. Some residents, as soon as they finish an appointment, they give me the card for their next appointment months away. We have other residents that will call me at the end of each month to give me a list of appointments for the next month. So you kind of do whatever you're comfortable with. And lastly, what will we do when the expansion happens? I know this is a question for a lot of departments, probably. And for us, what we're doing is we're just keeping an eye on that declination report. So as we're welcoming new Rolling Green residents into our community, if we start to notice the decline rate increasing, and we're saying no more frequently, we will potentially likely hire a new driver as well as get a new vehicle to keep up with the demands. Okay. And of course, if y'all have more questions for me, I'm happy to answer it, but just wanted to say thank you for giving me the time to speak to you all. And of course, if even not today, if down the road there's any questions you have, feel free to stop by my office, call me. I'm happy to further discuss with you. But any other questions?
How far out do you go?
Yeah. Oh, great question. So I think the farthest we've ever been was Spartanburg, which is sometimes 30 to 45 minutes. But everything, because we live in Greenville, there's a lot of medical offices, pretty local here. So I would say Spartanburg is probably the farthest. If you have something farther, we can talk about it, and it could be a good possibility. But most of our drives tend to be pretty local around like the Patewood Hospital area. We go downtown towards the hospitals. We drive there a lot. Places. Any other questions?
Thank you, Danielle, for the job you do.
Oh, thank you, Jean. Thank you, everybody. Love you all. Thank you.
All right, so hopefully that was not too bad, informative-wise. I think it was good to fill you in on some of the things that we're doing and remind you. We don't want to use it as we're trying to sell you the transportation, but we wanted to remind you that it's there. And I think Danielle and her team are doing a great job. I've even seen Shannon driving to take people to appointments, and even Shannon accompanying them within the appointments. So we really do try to do a lot to make it work for you. And we will continue to closely keep an eye on the trips and our needs. If we do need to add another car, we certainly will. We've added the 2 CRVs in the last couple of years. We got rid of a Subaru that was kind of on its last leg and given some problems. So we're happy to get another one and then add some additional staff if we feel like it's needed. So just really appreciate Danielle's commitment and the work that she does. I don't know if folks know, but she was a high school hire that we had over at J.L. Mann High School. So we had a job fair that we went over to, and she responded back to us, and I believe this is the only place she's ever worked, right?
Yeah.
So she doesn't want to leave us, which is great. And she's done a lot of different things at our campus, and we're excited about continuing to provide opportunities for her to grow, because she's pretty special. Bruce Vogelsberg, she started off in food and beverage. He came to me and said, this person we got to find a spot for. She's really, really sharp. So we figured out a way, and she worked within sales, did a little bit of social, interviewed for social, but ended up working in sales for a little bit. And I know Shannon really appreciates her on the team downstairs. So thank you, Danielle. We appreciate you. All right. Let's see. I did want to talk a little bit about the staff hardship that Judy was discussing. We had, I think folks remember, last year was a really tough year for us. We had 4 current working staff members that passed away in the year of 2025. 4 staff members who've never had that before. So this staff hardship fund, which Judy is helping to get off the ground, which hopefully in the next month or so will be a reality, is really going to be a great way we can help them out. Maybe $500 or $1,000 to help cover some funeral expenses, something like that is what we're envisioning. There's going to be structure, there's going to be a committee, there's going to be an application, there's going to be a way that we can give back to the people that work here. We've also had situations where staff members have had a fire at their house, where a staff member had a tree fall on their house, where a staff member's parent passes away and they have to get on a plane really quickly, and the cost of a ticket is not cheap last minute. So we want to have those situations where we might be able to help out the great staff that we have. So that's something that's been important to me. We've talked about it for a little bit, but bringing it to reality here in the next couple of months is something that we're excited to do. So I just want to make sure you knew a little bit more about that from what Judy was talking about. We're going to move forward. Everybody knows we had some telephone issues in the month of July. 2.5 telephone issues. We almost had one today. I don't know what that's about, but the first telephone issue happened on, I think it was like a Friday afternoon. This is a picture of the vault that is out front on Garlington. So that's the front entrance with the front. It's the fencing that's near there, and then that shows you this vault which goes down underground a couple of feet. And it is a full metal enclosure with a door, with a lock. We don't have any access to this at all. Not RGV, but Segra and AT&T are the equipment providers that help keep up with that. So the phones went out, we put in a work ticket, a work order, and then we don't have an account rep, so you just wait to hear back from them. Again, the phones are out and we don't have anybody else other than saying, you know, we've received your request. So Friday happens, Saturday happens, Sunday happens, still out, Monday we're still out, and we finally were able to secure someone to come out on Tuesday. I was really hopeful for Monday. And when folks call in, you could hear this like that old school kind of, so you couldn't even leave a voicemail, you couldn't hear anything. So it sounded like the lines were cut. I wanted folks to know it was not us this time, it was not construction, but it was within this vault. So if you can go to the next picture, there was significant water at the bottom of this vault. There's a sensor within this vault that wasn't working. There was a sump pump within this vault that wasn't working. So it was this perfect storm. We don't know exactly how the water got in, but it fried up a lot of technology in there, those circuit boards, and that's what caused that outage. So just unfortunate. We are trying to think through, I know that Lindsay's been on a team, and I know Skip's been a little bit of it. We're trying to make a transition away from copper telephone lines to voice over internet, VoIP, they call it VoIP. We're trying to make that shift. We're getting pretty close, and that could potentially help us in situations like this in the future. But I did just want you all to be aware it wasn't us this time. We did have another repair that needed to happen here within the last couple of days. It was only out for a few hours, but that was another thing. Like, come on now, how does that happen twice within a month? But I think the pictures say a lot, so I just want to make sure folks knew. We wanted to make sure we posted on the website. We made sure we told you all on the One Call Now system, and try to get it back up as soon as we can. You want to move along? So some campus improvements. Let's see, did we skip a few? Maybe I moved it around. Sorry. Yeah. Is that what you got? Okay, we'll come back to it. Some campus improvements. The Middle Pond plantings. Holly's going to be out here tomorrow as we continue to improve the space out there. We know that there's some weeds out there. We know that there's some things that are doing well and some things that are not doing well. So Holly's going to help us to keep track of that, continue to work on improving. We felt all along, and Holly's shared with us all along, it's going to take a couple years before it starts to look the way that we want it to. So I just want you to be aware of that. So we're going to meet with her tomorrow afternoon. We also did put aquatic plants in the pond. You have to look really, really closely. Skip showed me a picture of it, and he zoomed in, and he zoomed in again. So there are supposed to be some lilies. I think we planted 5 that are supposed to be in 5-gallon buckets in that middle pond area. But if you look really closely, you can see them. So it's kind of a test opportunity to see if how they'll survive and thrive. We don't want them to overtake the entire pond, but we wanted to try something a little bit different. So Holly will take a look at that again tomorrow as well and see if there's any other things we can do to improve that. So we're hoping that will eventually take and it'll look a little bit different in the coming months. The Village Green Courtyard, I don't have a big update. We have gone back through the resident committee. We met. We created a couple of changes in hopes of changing the scope a little bit and reducing some of our costs. We got back 1 quote this week. We're still waiting for 2 more. It's reduced the cost a little bit, but not a lot. But we are continuing to move forward with that project. The Village Center renovation, as you can see, the front desk and the signage, we're still waiting on a little bit of the rest of that to finish out between the furniture and the artwork. But Lindsay did tell me that there's going to be new doors that are installed this weekend here. So there'll be kind of an interior vestibule door to help out with some of the heat and some of the bugs and some of the wind that the folks get at the front desk. So that's going to be happening here over the weekend. Keep moving along. The new recycling dumpster location, we have, I believe we've purchased a fence. So there is going to be a perimeter fence that also is installed in that location. It's going to be kind of 3/4 around the dumpster area. That was one of our negotiations with the county when it came to finishing out that space. So I wanted you to make sure that you knew that the plants, they're pretty well set, but that fencing is going to be coming in. It might take between 4 to 6 weeks, and then we're going to have Allison Brothers install that fencing for us. And it'll be similar fencing to what we have at the front gate area as well, and the back gate as well. The manufactured wood that doesn't require a lot of upkeep. Make sure everybody knows too about the Wellness Center parking spots that are in that location. Just continue to use those, and that's helping out with the increased traffic over in that area. And then we do have new equipment that's been ordered for the gym. We sent them the check. We're waiting on the delivery of the new equipment. It's going to be in August. So a new SciFit recumbent bike machine you kind of use with your hands, and then also a new rowing machine, just swapping out the rowing machine that's been used quite a bit. The Commons Front parking lot, Skip's been working a little bit on this. We're going to be patching and seal coating and restriping probably next month. We don't have a final date yet, but wanted you to have a heads up. That's going to be a little bit of a project where we're going to have to break out and divide the parking lot into 3 different sections because we need to keep flow, we need to keep access to it. But it's been about 6 years since it was installed, and you can see that it's starting to show weather, and you can't see some of the parking spots there. So we'll keep you apprised on when the plans come together and what that's going to look like. We'll have a map for you, and we'll let you know when that's going to start. Hopefully it won't take too long to do, but the plans are in the works, and I just want you to be aware that that's another project that we have moving forward. Keep going. Just an overall, again, making sure folks know where the new recycling construction dumpsters are in that back area. Back here. Move on to the next. Yeah, that's what I thought we might have missed that. Go ahead. If you want to pull it up. Please. So I want to talk to you about June. We had a pretty good month of June, but there's a couple of caveats. One, in the month of June, we had another accounts receivable bad debt allowance that we had to subtract some of our revenues. So that brought our revenues down by a little over $100,000. There's a good thing to share with regards to that. This is a new best practice that LCS has helped us to implement. And the bad debt allowance is when folks come through the rehab area, and whether it's through a Medicare Advantage plan that we run into an issue with billing, or whether it's somebody that's here private pay that doesn't end up paying us when we send them a bill in 30 or 60 days, because we can't make them pay before they leave. We have to wait, we have to bill Medicare first, and then we have to send them a bill. At times we do have some balances that are out there. If they're 120 days or more before they've been paid, Life Care Services recommends that we write them off on a temporary basis and have an allowance that affects our revenues, but they can be reversed once we receive those funds. So one of the wrinkles we've had within the last 6 months is an issue with United Healthcare, where United Healthcare was not making payment to us for the some of the claims that we have. So that was a challenge for us, and it was about $150,000 that United Healthcare was not paying to us. So we had to enlist a consultant to help us dive into it, take a look at the claims, take a look at all the codes. This is some pretty complex stuff, and it's challenging, but we were able to get that resolved and actually rebuild those. So we've written off about $200,000 so far this year. $150,000 of that will be reversed once we get this payment here. So claims have been submitted, and hopefully within the month of August, if not in early September, we'll receive those funds. But these are some of the challenges that we have when you're working with Medicare Advantage. We do have a good billing team. I think they want to do the right thing, but sometimes mistakes can happen, and sometimes those codes are just one thing off and it kicks back. But this is a bigger UHC thing that we were able to sort out. So that will help us reverse the revenues, and we'll see that reflected coming up in either August or September. But that's the reason why we were off about $50,000 on our revenues for the month. We continue to be 94% occupied, which is great. Our goal is 95%. So 94% across all the areas: independent living, assisted living, memory care, healthcare, and rehab. So we do continue to see great revenues. On the expense side, we did have a couple of expenses that came up above what we had planned that caused us to see that. We did see food costs go up last month. That was quite a bit more than we had planned. As you're all aware, folks that go to the grocery store, groceries are not cheap right now. We also had a recruiter fee to pay to find Tess. We paid a consultant to help us find her. We had a couple of different interviews, but the recruiter helped us find someone that was a higher level that we feel is going to be a really great person for us. So that was something that came up in that month. We also had our fire safety inspections and also our annual termite inspections that all hit in the month of June. So some of these things we have budgeted, but they just happen to all fall in that month of June. So June doesn't look as good, but moving forward, we feel good that July we're going to bounce back. We still did make money, we just didn't make as much as we had planned. So we still had $89,000 of net operating income. We had planned for $295,000. We are still around $300,000 above so far this year through the first 6 months. So we are in the net positive. We're in the green by over $300,000 for the full year, even with this one not so good month. I just want to share the financials for you from June. I'm going to keep going. Yeah, keep going, yep. We're going to talk a little bit about phase 2. Again, wanted to thank you all for living through the noise and the dust and the disruptions that continues. I did hear from Nick Dalton that possibly in October they're going to be finishing up with all the earth moving, so that'll be a good thing. Hopefully less of the big equipment, and there'll be different types of disruptions, but they're slating by October is when a lot of that work by the Strange Brothers should be coming to an end. Did want you to make sure you're aware of a change that I was told about from Nick this week, that they're going to be deploying the stoplights again out on Hoke Smith that have sensors. So there's going to continue to be a lot of activity going across Hoke Smith. So those stoplights do have sensors on them, so you'll see those out on Hoke Smith, that we want to make sure that you stop when it's red and you go when it's green because of a lot of the traffic that's going across the street. Next, we have installed a new ramp, and we also put in a new handrail. It was just down there a little bit ago, so that's good. We heard someone had a splinter from the first handrail, so there's a new plastic handrail. It's a little bit lower. That's definitely a good safety upgrade, so I want to thank Clancy for being very responsive to putting that in. But that has been sorted out, and the handrail is a good upgrade. And then I want to make sure you're all aware I sent out a letter, but there's continued work on the foundations for the carriage homes. This will mainly impact folks in the F building across the street, the 2 carriage homes. There's going to be foundation pours coming up this next week on the 29th and the 31st. Next, 110 is our number. So 110 new homes have been sold out of 116. So we continue to have a few that have canceled, and a lot of those cancellations, talking to Lexi this week with the POA presence, comes back to health-related concerns from folks that are no longer able to live independently, so they've decided to change their mind. But we've also been continuing to backfill and backsell any of those cancellations. So we're still at 110 out of 116, which is about 95% sold. 100% of the apartments, and there's 2 open cottages right now. Dorothy, I think folks know Dorothy, she sold 3 phase 2 units last week alone, which is great. We could not have 3 in maybe a month. So I was teasing that she could take the rest of the month off. She had a great week. So we are continuing to see really good momentum. They finished all of the selections, so all of that process has been done. So Kirsten did a great job of meeting with every individual resident and going through all of their selections and finalizing those. So that's a big weight off of Kirsten's shoulders, and we continue to move forward with the construction and the sales process. We're hoping maybe by the end of September, maybe beginning of October, we'll be 100% sold. We would have been there by now if there weren't some of these cancellations, but that is part of it, and that's expected. Next slide, please. Just remind everyone of all the communication plans that we have in place. We do have a town hall coming up. We talk a little bit at the executive director meetings, and then the project reports, and also the comments poster board visual. If you go to the next slide. So our next phase 2 town hall is coming up on Monday, August 3rd. It's going to be in this room. We'll have Nick from Clancy and Faze there. Lucas from LCS Development will be here, and then also we'll have Giselle Figueroa. He is the gentleman that helped us build the chapel, and he is helping us to lead the effort back here in our assisted living. It's a picture of the site map. Keep going, please. The tentative schedule, as we talked about before, second quarter of next year and third quarter of next year. We're still targeting to have everything finished up. And I want to answer a couple of resident questions. Alexi shared these 2 questions with me that came from the resident association meeting. There was a question around the current meal counts across our campus. So this shows the number of meals that we have been serving from January to June of this year. So we're averaging about a little over 24,000, almost 25,000 meals a month. And this is broken out by independent living, skilled nursing, memory care, employees, and guests. So it's good to see kind of the work that they're doing. They're really doing a great job. Their commitment to quality and service, you all see that and feel that every day. The question was asked on the independent living meals. The independent living meals includes all patio homes, all apartments, and all of your guests that come with you. The guest meals are actually they're actually folks that come into the licensed areas and may want to eat with a loved one. That's under the guest meals. And then right now we also do have a certain number of the continental breakfast that we put down as a guest meal right now. Some of that might change after talking to Rich. He's going to follow up with LCS. But that's some of the definitions in those areas. So about 2.25 or 2.33 meals a day for residents across all those areas. Next question. The RGB Chorale concert had Blue Ridge D overflowing. What are our thoughts on expanding this space to accommodate more residents? I did come to the chorale concert. I was not able to get a seat because it was overflowing. And that's the busiest I've ever seen this room. So we don't have any plans right now, not to say we won't change plans in the future. And it's something that we're going to continue to keep an eye on. So I can't say right now we have a plan to bump out a wall, but we will continue to keep an eye. I think when I asked Amy, because I think Amy's a good barometer to say how many times has the room been like that, she indicated it's just at the chorale concerts pretty much. So I think it's something for us to talk to the chorale about and how we can navigate that. I use the analogy of NFL football stadiums and Clemson Death Valley. To build a place that large to only use 8 times a year is not really smart business practices. So I really do feel strongly if you're gonna build a space and only use it once like that, we could probably use our resources differently. So one idea we have, kind of like we're doing with the town hall, could be, and I'm not saying we have to do this, but could be a couple different performances. Just like, the concert series downtown, just like the play, that may be something we come up with. But for right now, we'll continue to keep an eye out, and we'll continue to be open to making changes if we feel like the demand is definitely there. Last slide, and I'll open up to some questions. We wanted to have you save the date for Thursday, October 1st. We're going to have a 40th anniversary celebration for Rolling Green Village, which is going to be a really good time. Plan to invite former board members, former residents, former staff members. We're going to unveil a pretty neat new addition to the community. It's going to be in the front Commons parking lot. There'll be some guest speakers and some guests here, so we're really looking forward to getting together and celebrating 40 years of being here in this special place. So want to make sure you knew about that date coming up. It's hard to believe it's almost August, and October will be here before you know it. So more details to come. That was all that I had. I do have one question here from the Phase 2 question box, but it's not really a Phase 2 question, but I'll go through it anyway. It says it would be much easier and faster and maybe more efficient overall if we could pay our monthly invoices via auto pay credit card. All of my bills are structured auto pay except for the RGB bill. We do get this question come up from time to time. Within the last couple of months, we have implemented a credit card system up in the commons dining room. So if there is a person that comes in, let's say a Phase 2 depositor, and they're gonna eat with somebody, we can actually use their credit card to pay for their meal because they don't have an account yet for us to put on. So we have started to use the credit card system, and I think it's only used a handful of times a month. But we're open to looking at that and exploring it within our current billing system. So we're not quite there yet, but in the last few months, that's the first time we've ever been able to accept credit card for payment for something here. We still do prefer to use the monthly accounts because it makes it a little bit cleaner as far as transactions, but we are open to looking at it, and you're not alone with this question here. We also did hear from a couple residents that they didn't get their monthly invoice. So if you have that happen, please let us know. We can email it to you. But there's been a couple people within the last week that have said, I didn't get my invoice in the mail. So if you do have that happen, let us know. We're not doing that on purpose. There could be some things with the U.S. Postal Service. But let us know. We can follow back up and get you another copy. Who has the first question?
Questions?
Who do we call?
Who do we call to get that information? Not
To-
getting the statement.
If you not get your statement, I think you can call the main number and talk to them there, and then it would be referred to the accounting team. So Tess is the new accounting director, or it would go to Janice, Raquel, or Wanda on the team. But one of those folks could answer that for you. They can pull up the software, and they could download a copy, either email it to you or have it printed for you to come and pick up. That's a good question. Thank you, Francis. What was the next question?
Can we install an ATM machine?
Yeah, that is something we've been. Yeah, that's been something we've thought about too. We had somebody come out and give us some quotes, and then it kind of fizzled when Sean left, and we've not picked it back up. But we did find a vendor that could provide one. We were trying to find the right location. That's a secure location. That's not in the middle of everything.
How about right across from the dining room?
We were thinking about that as well. So those couple different spots. But the other wrinkle was you can buy a machine, but then who's going to load it? Do we have to load it? Do we have to go out to the bank? We do have to go to the bank now, so it might help us to use that as a secure place for some cash to be kept and for residents to be able to access if they needed it. So we did find one. When we asked a local banking partner, they said that they didn't feel like there was enough traffic for them to install an equipment with their name on it, but there was some of these kind of third-party companies that could do it for us. So we did research it, but we haven't executed on it yet. It will be something I'll revisit with Tess about when she gets her legs underneath her, and it's something we do want to continue to consider.
Ryan.
Next question. Hold on one moment here. We'll get you the mic so everybody can hear you.
They can hear me.
Just to make sure.
I'm a school teacher. Without question now.
Are people aware that we can write a check for $100 a day cash here?
Are people aware that we can write a check for cash? That's where we do run in. We do keep some petty cash here, and if we have to, we will run out to the bank. Our operating accounts are with Truist, so they would run up the street off of Feaster straight across Woodruff Road to go to Truist if we need to. But yes, there are abilities that folks can get some cash from us. We don't keep a lot of it here. we've reduced the amount that we keep over the years. But that's where we felt like the ATM, if we had to, if we kept up with it, we could then access that versus us having to go up the street. But it does just create some nuance and some wrinkles that we haven't implemented yet. But yes, we can, if you do have a check, we can cash it for you. Who has the next question?
I don't have a question, Ryan. Lucky you. I have an announcement, however.
You have enough? Well, let's get you the mic here. Hold on, Terry.
I don't need the mic. Those of you who are scheduled to go to the Furman concert this evening, I called them this afternoon. They have moved it inside to McAllister, so you will not have to bring the chair with you. And those of you who weren't going to go because you thought you were going to be sitting in the rain or in the heat, now can go because you will be in McAllister, which is plenty cool, so bring a sweater along.
Do we have a bus that's going tonight?
2 buses.
2 buses, wow, so make sure you get a spot. I saw a pretty good group going out last night to a restaurant. There was 2 buses as well, so that was good to see. You have a good time? Yeah? Fork and plow, is that right? Yeah. Who has another question? Come over here.
I'm Jackie Dudley, and we have lived in Lakeside for 12 years. I would like to see a railing going from Lakeside up to Hope Smith because Warren and I walk there most every day. We used to walk with our dog, but she just passed away, unfortunately.
I'm sorry.
But it's hard as you get older to walk up that since they put in a new sidewalk. We do need a railing there. It would be most helpful for us.
Yeah, and I appreciate that question. That's been brought up a couple of times. And when we redid that sidewalk, we felt like we were changing some of the slope from the way that it was before, where it wasn't straight down, but it actually kind of went a little bit more of a kind of a hump there. So we did feel like it helped. Since I've had that question come up, and I talked to Dick about it as well, I've reached out to our engineer, and he hasn't gotten back to me yet with what his plan would be for that. So Josh with Gray Engineering asked him to look at it to see where he would make sure, based upon the slope and from a civil engineer's perspective, where the handrail should be. Because we don't want to put it on the entire slope. We want to make sure we put it where it's most needed. So I'm waiting for Josh to get back to me, but that is something we're going to consider. I can't give you a time frame on when it will happen, but we are definitely researching it with the goal of doing that in the near future. You're welcome. Other questions?
Done.
It's 3:57. Any other questions? I did want to highlight, again, the great work that our transport team is doing. And amazing work that we appreciate Danielle for her sticking around. Also excited about Danielle T joining the team. I know that Shannon really needs that help as we have a growing number of residents that are here, and she's really excited about Danielle T. We really miss Kathy, her leaving us, going back home to San Antonio. So, but the resident services team, they really do a great job down there. So, again, if you want to stop to see Danielle, you're welcome to. If anybody have any other questions, I'm happy to answer them one-on-one up here. But thank you all for your time. Thanks for coming today. Have a good weekend.